Hello, everybody. You're very welcome to the webinar. Thanks very much for taking the time to be here today. I understand that it's quite difficult when you're a trainer to find the time. I've got two laptops. One on my right is the chat window. Please, if you're watching and you haven't already, just open the chat box in the lower right of the screen and tell me what your name is and what sort of training you offer. And you'll be able to ask questions that way throughout. And at the end, I'll answer them, okay? So I'm not going to hang around. I know you're busy. I'm going to get right into, I'm going to start sharing my screen now. And we're going to get down to business. Oops. All right. So the webinar is how to sell and deliver automated training online. Very quickly about myself. I had 10 years experience as a web developer. So I worked for some large companies doing web development like Microsoft and Siemens, and lastly Enterprise Ireland. And I did a lot of freelancing work with small and medium-sized businesses, making websites and doing digital marketing for 10 years. For the last 6 years, I have been a teacher and a trainer. My day job is in Ballsbridge College in Dublin. And I've also been running my own WordPress course. The subjects that I teach in college include website design, multimedia, the internet, digital marketing, e-business studies, and subjects like that. For the last 5 years, I have been training people online. 3 of those years, I worked in association with business colleges around Ireland who sold my online course, while I focused on building a teaching platform that got really good results. So for 3 years, colleges sold the course and I worked on the website. For the last 2 years, I have been promoting it and selling my own course online. I've learned a lot about it and I'm going to share everything with you today. So there is a few snapshots of myself. You've already seen me at the start. Some of my work related to online training has featured on the Irish Times and some fairly large blogs like Web Designer Depot and Social Media Examiner. So very quickly, what's different about today? All right, what's different about this webinar? First of all, there's nothing for sale, okay? There won't be a sales pitch at the end. We're going to focus on real training, all right? So we're going to try and recreate the experience you offer your clients and your learners in the real world in person. And we're going to be talking about quality lessons and a sense of community and a social element. And of course, you offering your support to people in a way that's easy for you and nice and easy for them also. We're also going to have a relentless focus on leads and sales. So if you have thought about starting an online training business, you'll probably have heard advice on you should be blogging, you should be growing your Facebook followers, you should be updating Twitter on a regular basis, you should be doing things like your SEO, you should be writing ebooks and giving them away and all that stuff for email addresses. I'm going to say, don't do that, okay? Because that is actually a big diversion. My advice is to focus on generating leads and making sales. And we're going to talk about using paid traffic to build a profitable system fast and a system that you can scale, all right? Now, I'll go back and I'll talk about each of those internet marketing tactics in a few minutes and just explain what's involved and why I don't recommend them. By the way, folks, if you have questions, please ask. I'll answer them at the end, okay? My chat window is going a little bit crazy and I'm ignoring everything, so please bear with me and I'll get to them at the end. So very quickly, I started off, the first time I ran my own course was offline. I needed to book and prepay for a training venue with 20 computers in it. I wasn't able to handle more than 20 learners at a time because it was just me and there was 20 people and they were asking me questions and I'm just one guy. The travel time to the venue was about an hour each way, which was a nuisance. When I was promoting the course, I was restricted and could only really market it in close proximity to the venue. So I ended up just printing flyers and advertising in local newspapers, and that's not a very effective way of marketing. I was limited to 3 classes per week, so I was capped on how many students I could actually teach because I had my day job working in the college, and I 2 evenings a week and maybe one Saturday morning, and any more than that, and I would burn myself out. And the type of training that I was offering was very specialized. It was my expertise in the area of web development and digital marketing. It was a WordPress training course, and it was too specialized to quickly train up somebody else. So I couldn't just grab some graduate from college and get them to help me out and take over classes, because it depended on me. I always knew, though, that I wanted to get it online. I did it offline first just to make sure that there was a market for it, and then I started thinking about online training. Now, I faced some problems. And the main problem was decision paralysis. I didn't have technical problems because I was a web developer, but I had questions, and lots of them. How to charge for my course, how to accept payments, what platform to use, how my website should look and work, how to record lessons and run webinars and live events and things like that, how to handle support, and the big one, how to get traffic. So all of these things were questions that I had to answer. I Googled them, of course, and I spent about a year and a half going through all the different options and exploring them and testing them and writing them off and basically slogging it out. So today I'm going to answer each one of those questions for you, okay, based on my experience. Now, I love online training. I have been doing it for the last 5 years, and especially since I started selling it myself, I've really fallen in love with it. I can manage hundreds of clients at once. I have a reliable and hassle-free sales process. My website does all the work. I have more time to travel and relax and think about growing my actual business. I have access to larger markets outside of Ireland, which is very nice. I have increased referrals, which I'll explain to you in a few minutes. There's ways that you can automate once you have people coming through your course, once you're offering great value and making people happy. And there's a way that you can actually automate getting referrals. And I have found that it led to an increase in client and consultancy work. And basically what I did was I productized my service. So I had a service. The service required me. For every hour I worked was another hour I got paid. But now what I have is a product, and I can leverage powerful internet marketing tools to sell that product and free myself up to enjoy my life more, okay? So you're probably asking, how do you get there? Okay, so you're on the left, offline, you're working long hours, you've got capped growth, you've no leverage, you've overheads like venues and travel and equipment, and your marketing is restricted. So how do you get over onto the right-hand side? How do you get a scalable business where you have more clients and you work less? How can you offer on-demand access to your clients from anywhere? And how can you automate everything from sales to registration to lesson delivery to support to referrals, the works, okay? So we are going to join the dots here in the next 40 minutes or so, maybe 50 minutes, and you'll have answers to all those questions. First, let me just talk about the 3 main business models for online training. First of all, this one you may have considered. I do know people who are doing it and doing it well. And what they're doing is they're leveraging daily deal sites. So they're creating a course. One example of a company that does this, by the way, is the showacademy.com. You can jot that down in your notes, but don't go looking up their website now, please. What they do is they create one course, they offer a huge discount, then they partner with Groupon or Living Social or whatever else, and they sell people on the advanced course. Now, they have a business model that has a lot of people working around the clock, contacting Groupon and these companies all over the world, and it's not very automated. So it's a full-time sales job, and your first course you'll be giving it away for free. Now, so I don't recommend you go down that road. In fact, it's when people see that you're on those deal sites and you're offering 90% discount, it affects their value perception as well. So I rule that one out. The next model is a nice one. People like the idea of it. Recurring monthly payments. Charge a monthly fee, and every month you can make predictions about what's going to come in next month. But there's 2 main problems with charging recurring monthly fees. First of all, you got to charge smaller fees, all right? So between 29 and 79 euros a month in that bracket. 2 main problems are, firstly, your cost per acquisition, which means how much you pay to get your customers, will actually be greater than the upfront revenue you get from your customers. And you will need to get those customers coming back month after month after month. And in order to do that, you'll need to create more and more content to keep them sweet. And if you don't, what you'll have is what's called your churn rate will go up. So that means more and more people will start leaving your membership site and cancelling their subscription. And the only, like I say, the only way around that is to create new content. And again, that's not an automated business, and it's not very scalable either, or it has limitations. So I don't recommend that model either. The model that you already use is the one I recommend, the standard training business model of simply having a price, having a set number, as you know, a set time frame that you're going to deliver your course in. And so that way students know exactly upfront how much they're going to pay and what they're going to get, what the outcomes are. And that is the best way I've found of delivering and selling training online. Okay. You can have an early bird price maybe at the start and then a full price, but that's the way to do it. And you can also offer payment plans. That's no problem. But the idea is that people like to know what they're buying in advance, how long it's going to take exactly. They don't like the idea of, oh, and another month and another month. I mean, will it ever end? They want the results in the time frame for the price, and that's it. So quickly, to dispel a few myths, online training is inferior to offline training. That is not true. My WordPress course is better online than it is in a classroom. Why? Because I'm able to give them everything that I give them in a classroom. I'm able to give them all the stuff they need to work on through the exercises. I'm able to monitor all their work, and far easier. I'm able to answer all their questions, and they get my best lesson every time. So I'm never hungover. I never have a headache. I'm never sick. I'm never late. They have on-demand access to my best lesson every time. Also, selling stuff over the internet needs to be gimmicky. This is not true either. Sneaky internet marketing tactics, you know them, you've seen them. Fake webinar attendees, you can buy Facebook fans, all the wait, don't go sort of pop-up windows, the false urgency, the false scarcity. You don't need to go down that road. You can sell your training online with integrity. So the first step in the process from going from offline to online is your LMS, okay? So LMS stands for Learner Management System, and it's your online training platform, okay? Now you have a number of options. One option is you can use somebody else's. There are marketplaces like Udemy and that provide you with your LMS, but they take a fairly large slice of your revenue, and also, and more worryingly, they actively promote your competitors. So Udemy, if you're selling a Facebook course for beginners, for example, they will send out emails to your customers promoting your competitor who's selling an advanced Facebook course. So I don't recommend going down that road. It's much better to have your own system and to own it yourself. Now, somebody asked me already about Moodle. Am I going to talk about Moodle? I use Moodle in where I work in Ballsbridge College, and it's very nice for taking, assessments and taking up assignments from large numbers of students. And it's also nice that you can have lots and lots of teachers all working at once, but it has no built-in marketing or business features, and it's very clunky, outdated software, and you're limited in a lot of ways with accepting payments and with the designs you can have. And so I recommend WordPress. WordPress is the best option available, okay? Now, I'm going pretty fast. If I'm freaking anybody out, or if you can't hear me, or understand me, then please let me know in the chat and I'll try and do something about it. But why WordPress? WordPress is 100% free. It's open source, so you can modify and change it any way you want. It's very easy to use. All the top marketers use it. All the top online trainers use it. You can verify that for yourself. And why do they use it? They use it because there's tons of designs and plugins to choose from. They have full control, and it integrates with all their marketing and business tools. So that's the reason top marketers choose WordPress. WordPress, by the way, powers almost a quarter of all the websites on the internet and nearly all of the websites of top digital marketers. So WordPress also, crucially, has all the functionality you need to deliver, promote, and sell your online course. All right. So what are the core elements of a good LMS, a good learner management system? Firstly, you need a responsive design, so learners can access the lessons on their phones or on their tablets or however they want. Second of all, you need a membership plugin. So this is a plugin that restricts access to your material to paying customers. And your membership plugin should integrate with leading payment processors, and the two top ones are PayPal and Stripe, which is a very useful app for. So Stripe is excellent for accepting credit cards and debit cards actually on your website, and it was founded by two brothers from Limerick, which is also nice. WordPress integrates with all your marketing tools, social media, your email autoresponder, your analytics, your SEO, all that stuff. You can do automated registration and enrollment, so your membership plugin actually handles that. It's easy to add videos and text and images and quizzes, and I'm going to show you all this in just a second. I'm going to switch over and show you my system. And it's excellent for, you can have you can run all your student support, and I found that discussion forums are the best way to handle student support. And you can have a community and a student tracking and a sort of a feedback element, which is also really, really important, because so many internet I don't know if you've done any online courses, especially if you've bought any online courses from sort of internet marketers. Really all they do is they offer you a membership site with videos, and there's no real way of interacting with them. I just bought one recently, in fact, from a guy called Mark Thompson, who was a very successful internet marketer, and I'm going to watch his videos, but Mark will never get to know me. Mark doesn't know who I am, because his website isn't set up for him actually to help me or for me to ask him questions. It's just, hey, here are the videos, watch them, and see you later. Another good feature of an affiliate or of a LMS is an affiliate system. This way you can give your clients a unique link and encourage them to share that link with their friends and refer you new customers. And when they do, you can pay them a commission automatically using built-in software in your LMS. And finally, you need sales and landing pages. You need to be able to quickly spin up pages that will, are good at generating sales and maybe getting people to register for webinars. The page that you're on now is a sort of a landing page, and in it, there's no menus or distractions. You'll simply notice that there is a video, there's some instructions, and there's a chat box. That is a landing page, and you should be able to create landing pages like that easily. So let me show you the demo of my system, okay? So this is what people see. Now, this is my website. I hope you can see it, and if you can't see it well, you can make the video full screen, I think. Oh God, I hope actually you can do that, but bear with me anyway, and I'll explain it to you. When learners log in to my website after they've paid, and I'll show you the sales funnel in a minute, the first thing they see is they see their activity stream. So everything that they've done previously on the course, from asking questions to completing lessons, it's all tracked, okay? And you might think, oh, well, so what, big deal, big deal. Your own activity stream. And you, as the teacher, can easily click into any one of them and see their photograph and everything that they've done on your course. So when you're asked a question, it's really easy for you to be able to, put it in context and find out what the student is on about. So let me show you. This is my one. I am the teacher on this one. But if I go to my classmates, I can see all my classmates that are on this course. And these are some of my students from my WordPress course. And if I click in on one of them, I can see everything about Orla. And if Orla asks me a question, I can scroll down through her. I can see what lessons she's finished. And I can maybe tell her, listen, don't worry about that yet. You'll get the answer to that in the later lesson. And if I go all the way down to the end, I'll see her introduction. And the first thing I ask my students to do is introduce themselves. So I can see what Orla does, what her business is, and that way I'll be able to help her and give her better support, just like a real teacher does in a real classroom. Now let's get down to the lessons. I guess this is the important stuff from a lot of your point of view. So I have all my lessons grouped in modules, and each module has one or more lesson units, okay? And making these is very simple. If you're familiar with WordPress, it's just as easy as making a blog post, and it's easy to drop in your videos and whatever else. So let's have a look at a lesson. Now, all my lessons are marked as done because I'm the teacher, but I'll explain that in a second. So this is what a lesson looks like. I have my video. I've recorded that myself, and it's hosted, and I'll explain that to you in a second as well. And so they watch the video. In my case, I just show them how to do various tasks on WordPress, and then underneath I give them the tasks to do themselves. And each customer on my website or on my WordPress course gets their own WordPress website to practice on. And then at the bottom of the course, or at the bottom of the lesson, there's the discussion area where students can ask me a question, And importantly, they can see previously asked questions. So that often saves them from asking a question and saves me from having to answer it twice. So they can ask the questions without leaving the lesson. And at the end, they can review the lesson, which is always good. And this lesson is already marked as complete, but if it wasn't, they could just mark this lesson as complete. And I'll get a little email notification, and it'll also update their activity stream. And if I wanted to, I could add a quiz or something like that at the end of this lesson. And the system already does that. I'll show it to you actually in a second. They're not able to complete the lesson until they've completed the quiz. And the quiz could also have the correct answers programmed into it, and you'll be able to give students a mark. And at the end of the course, when they've finished all their lessons, they mark the last lesson is complete. And at that point, they can download their certificate. Maybe you can turn that on and off optionally, but they can download a certificate, and you can also add a grade to the certificate. So based on the results of their quizzes, you could say you got an A or a distinction or a merit or whatever it is. So that's what lessons look like. And they all follow the same formula. You have your video at the top, you explain your video presentation, and maybe a task or something to do underneath. And a task could be as simple as just participating in a discussion and getting involved and explaining what they want to do or trying to achieve or whatever else. So now all the discussion forums from all the different lessons are all aggregated in one place in the support page, where you or a student can easily search through the questions. And you can add new discussion forums as well. So I have one here for introductions, where students come along and introduce themselves. So very quickly, I'll just switch over to another version of the LMS just to show you the quiz, even though it's not going to set your world on fire or anything, but just to show you what it looks like. So this is my lesson. And by the way, folks, this LMS, I mentioned responsive design. Here's how it should look on a mobile phone. So there you can see that the menu neatly folds in on itself, and the video shrinks, and it all looks very nice, and it's very easy to read for somebody who's on a mobile phone, on a bus, or on a train, or whatever else. So let's have a little look at the quiz. So the quiz just looks like this. Is delivering training online, yada yada. I'll just answer a few of these questions, all of the above. Building a system like this yourself costs a lot of money, true. And whoops, I got one of the answers wrong. Finally, you can see what the quizzes look like. All right, and as a teacher, you can go back and see all students' results from all their quizzes. I'll quickly also show you, it has the referral section, just so you can see each student on the course gets their own unique link. They can share that link with their friends, and if their friends sign up, you can offer them a commission, and the system will pay it out automatically. And also, you can allow students to manage their own account. And so when I said earlier that you should charge people a one-off fee for training, that's true. But what you can also do is, at the end of their training course, you can upsell them, for example, on continued access. So you could have another sort of product in the system where when they finish the course, they could pay a monthly fee for continued access to your support or to updated lessons. And from here, they're able to upgrade themselves or manage or cancel their subscriptions. So that's all built into the system as well. All right, so let me get back to the presentation here. So what technologies are helpful? Okay, so you can run, it's a good idea occasionally to run live group calls with your students. And there's different tools for doing that. Two of them are free. Google Hangouts is what I'm using right now to deliver this presentation. Skype, of course, you'll already know, is good for doing group calls. You can have up to 25 people on a Skype call. Even though since Microsoft took over Skype fairly recently, I've noticed that Skype is not as reliable as it used to be. And there's also an app called Zoom that you can pay for, and it's very good for having sort of webinars or live calls as well. Now, how do you capture and edit videos? That's another question. So there's two tools that I've used for this. One is called Camtasia. The other one is called Screencast-O-Matic. I recommend Screencast-O-Matic because it's cheaper. It's $15 a year, which is very cheap. And it has all the editing tools that you need. So you can edit, you can record your screen, you can record from your webcam, or you can record both at the same time. And you can also write out your script first and record your audio first, and then record your screen along to your script. So, but anyway, Screencast-O-Matic is simple, okay? But once you have your videos, you need to put them somewhere, and I recommend you'll need video hosting. And YouTube probably isn't what you want because you want your videos to be private. And so I use Vimeo. I pay $50 a year, and I have private videos hosted on Vimeo, and they're excellent. Wistia is another option. It's slightly more expensive, and they give you more analytics. So with Wistia, they'll tell you how long people watched your video for example. But Vimeo is perfectly fine for me. And in terms of the LMS, the core ingredients are a suitable WordPress theme with the features that I mentioned earlier, responsiveness and landing pages, a membership plugin, a discussion forum plugin, a community plugin that does the activity stream and stuff, and an LMS plugin. Now, I'm not going to go into too much detail on that just now because it's a sort of a deep one. But I'm going to give everybody an opportunity at the end of this call to book an appointment with me and discuss how they can build an LMS themselves using some or all of these ingredients. But let's continue. We're going along in the process from transitioning from offline to online training, and the first ingredient is your LMS. So you'll need your membership access with payments, you want your automated lesson delivery, and you want your support and community elements. The next element is the sales funnel, okay? So how do you make sales? Okay, this is a good question. If you're selling a training course that I would consider to be a low-cost training course, that would be less than €300, you can drive traffic straight to a sales page. And I will talk about traffic in detail in just a minute. But what the hell is a sales page? So a sales page is a lot like the page that you're on now. There's no distractions, there's no menus, there's nothing for you to click on and get lost. It is a squeeze page that funnels people to do one thing. And right now you're watching my webinar. But when you're trying to make sales, what you'll have is you'll have your headline on the top of the page, with your benefits and the sort of the results maybe. Then you just list your benefits and your learning outcomes. You have your course outline, so for each week, explain what you're going to be covering. Testimonials are very good. Get a few of those in, as many as possible, in fact. Your frequently asked questions section. And at the bottom of the page, you have your sign-up form. And you can get that from your membership software. So you can, with the membership software that I just showed you, on the back end inside of WordPress, I can create a new product. So for example, I can create a new training course and give it a price. And then I can just take a little bit of code and put it in the bottom of my sales page. And when the prospective clients see it, they'll see the form that they can fill out. And when they click on the sign up button, it takes them to the payments page, and that's how it works. And underneath that form, it's generally a good idea to offer a guarantee, just to say that you're not bullshitting people, and you're not going to just your only objective isn't to take their money. To say that if you're not really like this course, that you have 30 days to get your money back, and you more or less have to say that anyway because that's one of the laws. In the EU, there is a law that states that people who buy something online have a cooling off period, and if you don't tell them about it, then it extends that period. So you have to actually give them the guarantee for the money back. Okay. Now, a quick thing about sales copy, because I get asked this, and so now I've added this new slide. Is writing great sales copy an art form? Okay, I've got a little typo in my slide there. Yes, it is. There are people that are really, really, really good at writing great sales copy. Whoops. Do you need to be a sales copy specialist to make sales? No, you don't. If your offer is strong and the value is made clear to prospective clients, then they will buy. It's as simple as that. And if you've been selling your training offline and people have been buying it, then your market research is done. You know that people will buy this stuff, your offer, whatever it is. So just get that offer, make it clear, and get it across with the value, and people will buy. Yes, they will. So how do you find out what works? I mean, should you just make one sales page and let that be that? And no, what you should do is you should test. And what you can do very easily, Google Analytics is free software that allows you to track your website's performance and all that stuff. And it's the first thing I'd always do whenever I'm setting up a website for a new client. Set up their Google Analytics. And in Google Analytics, you can set up what's called a content experiment. And there are other software programs that do this for you as well, but Google Analytics is free. And basically, you can just create 2 variations of the sales page, and Google Analytics will tell you which one performs the best. It's as simple as that. Then you get rid of the the poor performing one, and then you might test another element of the better performing one until you've got until you have a sales page that has been tested and proven to be really successful. So back to our sales funnel. How do you sell higher ticket training? So what if you're going to price your training between 300 and 1,500 euros? And in a minute, I'm actually going to answer the question of how you should price your training, okay? But say you're doing training at this sort of pay, in between these two sort of pay brackets. So what you should do instead is, instead of driving traffic right at a sales page, oftentimes if people are on Facebook or wherever, and you're driving them to a sales page, they're not ready to buy, especially if they're certainly not ready to spend 1,500 euros. So what you need to do instead is get them on a webinar like this one. And you can do better ones than this. There is software you can buy for webinars, and I'll talk about webinars in a second as well. But this webinar is absolutely free. It's costing me nothing to run. And what you do if you're selling training in between these pricing brackets is you get your traffic onto a webinar. People are much more agreeable to sign up for a free webinar than they are to spend 1,500 euros on a course. And then during that webinar, you simply outline, you identify with their problem, and you explain. You let them know that you're the expert and that you have the solution to their problem, and you tell them how you're going to help them. And at the end, then you direct them to the sales page. All right. And how you make even bigger sales of online training. I know some of you might never have even dreamed to think that you could sell training for more than 1,500 euros, but it happens all the time. So what do you do in that scenario? Well, you add another step to your sales funnel. The webinar may or may not. Oftentimes, for high ticket items like 1,500, north of 1,500 euros, the webinar won't be enough to get people to spend that money. And what you'll need to do instead is get them on a sales call. So after the webinar, instead of sending them to the sales page, instead send them to a way for them to book an appointment with you, so you can talk to them one-on-one, and you'll be just helping them with their problems and seeing if there's a fit. And if there is, then you can just ask their permission to present your offer. And if they agree, then just tell them how you can help and tell them what the price is, and let that be that. And you can take your booking, you can take your sale then, of course, over the phone. If you're using Stripe, you can just type their credit card details into your system and do it that way. Or from there, you can direct them to the sales page. All right. So that's how you sell high ticket training programs. Now, webinars featured prominently in that. So let me just quickly talk about webinars. This webinar is costing me nothing. I'm using a free tool called Google Hangouts. If you have a Gmail address, then you have access to this tool for free. You can schedule a hangout. And I'm also using a free chat app called Talk2, TAWK.to. And I could just install that on my landing page, and it allows you to chat with me. And I can see there's a load of chats. So Geraldine and Marie, Jordan O'Reilly, and a few more of you. I'm sorry I haven't got around to joining your chat yet, but I'm just busy doing this webinar now, and I'll get to you at the end, okay? So don't disappear. When I hang up, I'll get back to you. I'll answer all those questions. But yes, so and all you need is a landing page. So your WordPress team, the team that you use for your LMS, should provide you with a landing page, and then you put them all together, and that's it. You can run a webinar like that. Now, this GoToWebinar is a popular choice, especially with the big dogs in internet marketing. You pay 99 euros a month. It doesn't do some of the things that I'd like it to do. Like, for example, it doesn't send automated email reminders, and it doesn't have a chat thing, for people to chat with text or text chat. But and also people have to install special software on their computer to actually attend the webinar. But there's actually another tool called Zoom that I haven't properly researched yet that looks like it could be a good competitor to GoToWebinar. And there's also automated webinars, so you can automate the process of your webinars. But I recommend when you're starting out to do them live. You'll get feedback, you'll improve your webinar, and there's also more magic when it's live. If this was automated now, and you thought that I was just running this every hour and it wasn't live, then you'd be on your phone, you'd be looking out the window, you wouldn't be as engaged as I hope you are now. Okay, so there is automated webinars, and when you have a system in place that works, you can scale it and automate it with, and you can automate the webinar aspect as well. So for the appointment scheduling, I use a little app that I have my available times in there, and it's a page, another landing page, and people can just choose a time that suits them and enter their details. And I ask a few questions before they can book in the call, and then they get reminders, I get reminders, and we get on Skype and we have a chat. So that is the sales funnel, all right? So I can show it to you on my live site, actually. So the first thing, you'll have seen this page because you registered for this webinar, and this is the first page. This is the first element of my funnel. Whoops, I'm getting messages here. So this is the first step. You drive traffic into this page and get people signing up. If they're not signing up, you might need to either target different traffic or improve this page. Next page is, whoops. Next page is this, of course, what you're looking at right now, the webinar page. And the next part of the process then is to schedule your free planning consultation. Now I'm using a system, they're called, I'm not sure how you pronounce their name, Acuity Scheduling, and they just allow you to book in a time with me. And then the sales page will look something like this. So again, it's a landing page, your headline at the top, maybe a question. Questions are actually good at interrupting people in their sort of, whatever people are doing, you can interrupt their pattern with a good, strong question. And then maybe a video explaining, your offer and the learning outcomes, like I mentioned, and the course outline, and the and the testimonials and the frequently asked questions. And the form isn't showing up because I'm signed in. If I wasn't signed in, that would be a form. And when they click sign up, the next page would allow them to either pay with Stripe or PayPal, and at the bottom is the money back guarantee. All right, so that's what a sales funnel looks like. Oops, where am I? So we're getting through this. What time is it? Yes, we're doing okay. So what have we done? So we're on our way from offline to online. We've talked about the LMS, the membership site, the automation, the support in the community. We've talked about the sales funnel, which is the webinar registration, or just a sales page. Live or automated webinars, getting people to book in on a sales call or just direct them to your sales page. And then, of course, the checkout payment and automatic enrollment feature that your membership plugin should provide you with. Now, the last step on this, the last step towards your online training course is traffic. All right. So how to get traffic? So promoting a course is a process, not an event. And the first ingredient is traffic. Now, you can advertise your course on the radio, and you can do print advertising, and there's nothing wrong with those methods at all. And if they're working for you now, then they may well continue to work for you for the future, but these are limited. And especially if you're trying to scale and to get into new markets, you mightn't be as familiar with the lay of the land in these new places. They do work, but they're not reliable and they're not scalable, okay? And you can't really measure them. You don't know how many people saw the ad. You don't know whether you should run your ad on a Thursday or a Wednesday. You don't know a lot of stuff, and you have no real way of finding out either. Now, you might have been told that content marketing, like writing blog posts, for example, or even writing guest blog posts and doing SEO and all this stuff are good ideas. They are good ideas, but they're time intensive and they're unreliable. And I'm not suggesting that you don't do them, but don't rely on them to get your online course off. You'll end up spending all your time doing that, and you'll end up becoming an internet marketing expert, but you won't be making sales on your online course. Partnerships are excellent when you have an online system, training system that's proven. When you've taught a few hundred people and this system is running smoothly, and the feedback is excellent, then you can approach large-scale bloggers and large affiliate marketers and say, hey, here's what I got. This system is working. And all you got to do is, so basically what you can partner with these large bloggers, for example, and offer them some sort of a commission using your affiliate system, and get them to promote your course to their audience. But none of the big dogs will come anyway. They will not be interested until you have a proven track record. So so by all means, always keep that in mind as something you can do in the future, but don't think partnerships is going to launch you into the online training business. It won't. And I tried. I thought my WordPress course would be perfect for partnering with web hosting companies and for partnering with large companies that sold plugins and WordPress themes. And I really spent a lot of time making sales calls and going to conferences to meet these people, and it was a waste of my time. because as far as I was concerned, or as far as they were concerned, I was unproven. Google AdWords is another thing that you might want to look into, but again, I recommend, let me tell you, the way I recommend, you already know if you thought about it, because this is how you ended up on my webinar. Facebook ads. Facebook ads are the most effective way of advertising anything, especially online training right now. Why Facebook? Well, you'll spend about on average you'll spend about $4 to $6 per lead. You can really target who you want to see your ad at a very fine level. So when I put an ad on Facebook, it's not being shown to everybody. I'll show you exactly in a minute who I'm targeting. You'll see how it works. You can also have rich media in your ad, so you can have images or even carousels of images and videos, and you might need to test those, see which one works best for you. But you can, they're far more attention grabbing than your standard than ads you get in, especially on Google. Of course, you can track all your conversions, so you know exactly how your ads are performing. You can create custom audiences. So you can say, for example, you can advertise just the people that you're friends with on LinkedIn, or you can just advertise the people that are on your email list, or you can just show your ads to people who like your page and their friends. And you can also stop advertising to people who've already signed up or have already expressed that they're not interested or whatever. Facebook is really easy to learn, and it requires minimal sort of time input, and it achieves the goal. And the goal is a system for generating instant traffic that you can turn on and off like a tap. And that is what Facebook allows you to do. You can start your ad small, $10, $20 a day, and find what works. And then when it works and you know it's working and you know it's profitable, then you can just open up that tap, and it's a scalable system that you have instant control over. And as soon as you want to stop, as soon as you want to take a holiday or whatever else and you want the traffic to stop, you just turn it off. Simple. I've done the content marketing thing. You can see from my blog on wpapplied.com that I've wrote a lot of blog posts. And as I wrote more blog posts, the traffic went up and up and up. And that was great. But as soon as I stopped, it went down and down and down again. And it wasn't reliable. So Facebook is the way. You can see here, I took the screenshot a few days ago. I was running 2 webinars this week. One was on Wednesday and one is today. And you can see that I actually paid a little bit more. My conversions are generally around $5 per conversion. You could see on my January 20th one, they were just over $4 per conversion. All right. So now I'm going to explain how you can make business sense of this stuff in a second. If you're thinking, oh my God, I'm not willing to spend money on this. This is crazy. I want an online course. I don't want to, blow all my money on Facebook ads. In a second, I'm going to explain how you can calculate if this is worth it for you or not. The next screenshot I'm showing you is just how I'm doing my targeting. So you saw my ad because you are a consultant or an expert or a specialist, or you do training. You may also have searched recently or shown an interest in software like membership software or video conferencing or web conferencing. And also, whoops, where the hell did that go? Also, you're the admin of your own Facebook business page. And that tells me that you're a self-employed trainer, and so you are on this training, on this webinar, because you're exactly the kind of person I want to be on this webinar. All right, so that's how I did my targeting. And Facebook has so much data on their users that if you're into yoga training or fitness training or weight loss or acting or photography, you can really narrow down and drill down into who you want to see your ad. So let me just recap on this process that we've talked about so far, okay? The first is an offer. You need to figure out a price and a really strong value proposition, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. But the stronger your value proposition and the more specific it is, so the more specific the problem you're solving for your prospective clients, the more easier it will be for you to make sales. From a traffic point of view, you'll need traffic. Your traffic, you shouldn't have to work. You shouldn't have to spend 2 years blogging and working your ass off to get traffic. You should be able to send it instantly, and it should be reliable and scalable, and Facebook ads are the way to go. The next part of the thing is your sales funnel. You need to be able to generate leads and make sales. And for that, you need to, or my recommendation was to either send traffic directly to a sales page if you're selling sort of low ticket training. And if you're selling mid or high ticket training, you should send them to a webinar. And from the webinar, you may even want to send them to a sales call instead of the sales page, for really high ticket programs. And of course, all that feeds into your LMS, and your LMS handles your membership access, it handles lesson delivery, it handles student tracking, it handles support and all that stuff. And the last step in the sort of the process is upsells and referrals. Now, I'm going to talk about that briefly, but I'm not going to dwell on it, because there's a lot of, because the first 4 items in this little waterfall type diagram here are the critical ones. And especially if you're starting off in online training, these are the ones you want to get right first. But once you've got people coming through your system, then you can sell them more stuff, and you can leverage their networks to find new customers. So what kind of stuff can you upsell to a client? Well, you can upsell continued access. So after they've done your course, you can give them the option to upgrade their account and pay perhaps a monthly or yearly fee for continued access to you, your support, and maybe updated lessons. You can also sell advanced training. So once you've got a load of people in one of your courses, you can create an advanced course. And of course, you can have your own events and maybe get a little consultancy work out of it as well. Also, just to quickly talk about referrals, and I've already mentioned this. So your system, if it's set up really well, the way I think your system should be set up, you can offer each of your clients a unique affiliate link. You can offer them a commission to encourage them to share that link. And when they do, they can earn a commission, and you can send the payments to them automatically. Now, like I mentioned, focus on getting sales first and delivering great service, all right? So don't worry about upsells and referrals first, okay? Because it's putting the ass in front of the cart a little bit, as they say. Now, we're going to talk about launching, right? And before you launch, I want to be clear. Offer a clear solution to a specific problem. The more specific your value proposition, the easier it is to cut through the noise online and to make sales. And another advantage is that you have less content to make. One of my big problems with my WordPress course, which I haven't really ran now since before Christmas, is my course was doing too many things for too many people. So basically it was how to build, manage and market your WordPress website. That's not very specific. In fact, I have 3 different types of people doing my course, and all of them demand content that suits them. So I had to create more content than I needed to, and if I'd had a better, more specific value proposition. Another little thing that I want you to be clear on is forget about the big launch event. Okay, I've seen this before. I don't need Facebook ads. I've got an email list. I've got 10,000 people on my email list. So all I need to do is just build the system, send email, and I'm made guy. Well, it doesn't work like that. Most people on your email list will never buy anything from you. I can almost guarantee you that. Now, maybe it depends on your email list, of course. Now, I shouldn't have said that so dramatically. But I know that I've developed an email list over the last few years, or the last couple of years blogging, and people join because they want my latest blog posts. And they're happy to get my latest blog posts because they're free. But if I ask them to pay for a training course, or if I ask them to, maybe what I'm selling them is the wrong thing, but if I ask them to buy my training course, very few people will buy it. Now, I emailed my list the first time I launched my course myself, and a few people did buy it. There were people there that wanted my course. But after that initial email, the list became pretty useless, to be honest. So the point is, break it up into a process. Think about each part of your process, from traffic to your webinar to your sales page. Just think about your whole process and refine each step and improve on it. It won't happen first time around. All these steps need to be tweaked and refined until they're working at optimal sort of capacity. But when you have a process, you can work through it and grow something from it. But when you put all your eggs in one big launch event basket, then it leads to heartbreak and disappointment. Invest in a system that offers an exceptional learning experience. So many of these online trainers are offering rubbish. It's actually easier than you think to wow people with an online course, because so many online courses are crap. I know my girlfriend is always on Groupon and she buys online courses, and I look at them and I laugh. they're so lame. And if your one is just decent, if you just have the community element, because people like to learn in groups, and the social element where you can interact with people and get to know them. If you're delivering that to your clients, you'll wow them, and that is a good way to start trying to build an online training business. So the question is, how much should you invest, and how many sales will you need to break even? So let's break it down a little bit. How much should you charge for your course? So let's crunch some numbers. If you're advertising on Facebook, which is what I recommend, then I have been spending, and I'm going to use sort of worst case scenario figures here, okay? Because I don't want to sugarcoat this and sort of bullshit you into thinking that, giving you a false sense of optimism. I want you to know, so I think you can get leads for less than $5, but let's just work off the assumption that I pay $5 per webinar registrant, okay? Now, I want 100 registrants on my webinar, okay? That's going to cost me $500. I don't know why my Facebook ad account is in dollars, but it is. So that's why I'm talking about dollars, okay? Because that's how my Facebook works. I think I was in America when I actually set it up in San Francisco at the time. Now, with webinars, most people will not show up. You'll be lucky, or a 30% webinar show up rate is good, okay? Or about average, in fact, that's what I should say. It's about average. So that would put would make it $16 per person on my webinar. I'm paying $16 for each person on my webinar, okay? Now you might be thinking, oh, if you, say, for example, wanted to get in front of a live group of people in a room, you know, and rent the room and promote that, I mean, would you pay $16 to have a person in the room? It's not too bad. Anyway, let me continue with the sort of the maths here. So if 10% of the people, if somebody has signed up for your webinar, and if they've bothered to show up on your webinar, okay, that means something. That means that they're thinking, or they're interested, or that means they are thinking along the same lines as you want them to be thinking in. And if you deliver a good webinar, and you're selling sort of a training course for 500, 600, 700, maybe even 900 euros, then you can expect, I would say, 10% of people. Now, you know, that number might go up or down a little bit, but I would say between 7 and 13% would be average for people who buy on a good webinar. So that would make, let's say your course is 500 euros. 3 new customers, doing the maths, at 500 euros per sale. So you had 100 registrants, 30 people showed up, 10% of those people bought. So that's 3 people at 500 per sale. So you invested 500 in your ads and you generated 1,500 in revenue, and that's how it works. All right. So you're making $1,000 profit for every 3 customers. That would be one way to break down the cost of invest. You know, when you're asking yourself whether or not you should invest in this online training business, if it's for you, then that's one way of breaking down the numbers. All right. So if your course is $500, you make $333 per sale. That is how it works. So where am I at? So some clarifications. Is it possible to get $2? Is it possible to get people leads from Facebook for $2? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. But I gave you the worst case scenario there. Is it possible to charge $999.7? Sorry. Let's say, is it possible to charge $1,000 for your course? Yes, it is. I mean, instead of rushing in with the value proposition that you've got now, if you're thinking about selling your course for $199, how can you think about your value proposition? Think about how you can improve it. I mean, but is blogging a complete waste of time? No, it isn't. What about SEO? No, it isn't. All these things can and will bring a gradual, incremental sort of growth to your traffic. But if you focus on these things first, like SEO and blogging and affiliates, then you're going to lose time and you're going to waste money and you're going to lose focus. So just to recap, and what am I going to? Oh yes. So right next after this, I'm going to talk about the launch plan, launching your actual online course. But just to quickly recap, offline, you've got long hours, you've no leverage, you've got overheads, marketing is restricted. Online, you've got a scalable, on-demand sort of business that's location independent. You can automate everything, and you can leverage your time and powerful internet marketing sort of tools. So how do you get there? The first part of the process is your LMS, which is your membership site, your automated lesson delivery, your support and community. Then you got your sales funnel. and then you've got your traffic. So let's talk about the launch plan. If you're planning on launching your course, here's my advice. First of all, refine your offer, your value proposition, and plan an 8 or 10 week course. When people log in and see a course that is there's 40 lessons, it freaks them out and they kind of don't want to finish it. Set up and test your LMS, get it working. Get your record your lessons and embed them in your LMS. So you can record them using the Screencast-O-Matic app, or you can run your first course live, and you can run it live on Google Hangouts or on Zoom or a tool like that. And then of course you can record those lessons and then embed them in the course. So get traffic signing up for your webinar, deliver a great webinar, direct webinar attendees to the sales page, get them started on the course, collect feedback, and when you've got your lessons in place and they're all really good and the feedback is strong, then you're fully automated, and that is when you can scale. So I hope I've answered many of your questions about setting up an online training course, but I know that oftentimes this stuff leads to more questions. So how should you plan your course? How should you set up and host your webinars? How to manage your Facebook ad campaigns? How to capture and edit videos professionally and look good? And how to set up your LMS. So if you like, I invite you to schedule a free planning session with me to discuss how I can help you. Okay, so we could talk about how to plan and price your course, what technologies will help you, how you can sort of evaluate and build rapport and give a really great experience to your clients, and how to target your audience. So if you want to schedule this free planning session, and let me just explain to you what the planning session is, okay? Because I don't want to freak anybody out or make you start getting suspicious. Basically, we'll get on Skype and you'll tell me what you're planning on doing, and I'll answer all your questions and give you the best advice that I can give you. And if I think that we're a good fit, or if I think I can help you and that we might be able to work together, I'll ask for your permission then to just present my offer to you. And at that point, you'll have answers to all your questions, and you'll be able to take it from there yourself, if you like, or we can work together. But it's free, and there will be no pressure to do anything. I'll simply answer your questions and help you in any way that I can. So if you want to schedule a free planning session, you can click on the link that should have appeared below this video. Now, if it didn't, you can visit elearning.wpapplied.com and you can register there, or you can book your call there. Or if you want to talk to me in advance, if you have a question that you'd like to ask without booking in a big 60-minute call, then sure, email me or you can call me. My number is 085, and if you're in the UK, you have to put in a +353 in front of that. But it's +353, then 085 288 9266. Now, that is the presentation. It lasted exactly an hour. I'm going to hang up now, okay? But I'm going to respond to everybody's chats. So if you don't, so please don't panic. If you've asked me a question, I'll answer it. The video is going to stop, and there's a 40-second lag. So I'm actually 40 seconds ahead of you. But I'm going to stop sharing my screen now and end the presentation. And I'm going to hang around afterwards to chat and to answer anybody's questions. And I hope that you enjoyed the presentation. I hope that encouraged you to take the leap and get online, because the benefits are great. And if I can help in any way, I'd be really delighted to. And I invite you to schedule your free planning call. All right. So thanks very much.